start a new segment, kind of the Shorts and Aurelius Bible Study. I don't know if that's what it should be called, but right now it's called the Shorts and Aurelius Bible Study.
Okay.
You know, after all this talk of not being continuous or having reoccurring themes, we're totally blowing that out of the water today. I mean, we did the update. Now we're doing apparently we're starting another ongoing segment.
We are rather hypocritical though, and we say things a lot before we start doing things. But that's the nature of the artist, because it flows.
That's true. Recently we have now 4 dislikes on our channel.
God, that's a miracle.
I think it's really great. We're hanging out with zero dislikes for literally 2.5 months, and all of a sudden 4 dislikes. Yes,
it's perfect. It's winning. It's everything I've ever wanted.
It's everything I've ever wanted. So, I figured we'd start at the beginning of the Bible, which would be the book of Genesis.
Okay.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
And I think we have time to do Genesis and Exodus today.
Okay.
So, this is just a few items of interest I found in my Bible adventure.
Yeah.
There are really many interesting passages along with a bunch of boring genealogy, which we'll skip. So.
Aww.
Yeah. So.
Genealogy got me hooked, man. That genealogy, it's really interesting. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, well, to kind of start off, in an apparent endorsement of astrology, God places the sun, moon, and the stars in the firmament so that they can be used for, quote, signs. This, of course, is exactly what astrologers do. They read the signs in the zodiac in an effort to predict what will happen on Earth. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. So right off the bat, we're getting into some pretty heavy business with God putting stars in the sky to help provide signs for people. So who says that astrology isn't biblical?
Right.
And I don't know if there's any commentary that needs to be said on that, but going on, God curses the serpent. From now on, the serpent will crawl on his belly and eat dust. But one wonders, how did the serpent get around before? By hopping on his tail, perhaps?
Maybe.
But snakes don't eat dust, do they?
Not that I'm aware of.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 14. This is, we're real biblical scholars now.
Yeah.
I think that we're doing this. I think we're qualified.
Absolutely.
So moving on, there's a lovely verse. Quote, and Cain knew his wife, unquote.
Okay.
That's nice, but where the hell did she come from?
Yeah, but he knew her. It's kind of nice to know your wife. I'm a fan of that.
It's kind of hard to bring the context out of the word "knew" unless you're going back to the ancient Greek, which we're not.
No.
The common use of the word "knew" just means that you know somebody. But if you put it in italics, you knew her. in the, quote, biblical sense. There you go. That's a different
vaginally.
situation. Right. And Cain boned his wife. Like, that could be.
Yeah.
But again, where did she come from?
Well, you know.
I mean, talking about genealogy, you got Adam.
So
Steve.
all these people, right. That's not any of those people. And she didn't come from any of those people.
Steve he was a minor character anyway.
I just like how it sort of begins, but without the actual beginning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's like Star Wars. You know, you start off with Luke, and then you sort of learn everything about the past, but you don't with the Bible. It's like Star Wars if you only knew about Luke, and then that was the end.
Right, that wouldn't make a very compelling story.
No.
God was angry because the earth was filled with violence.
Mm-hmm.
So he killed every living thing to make the world less violent. Genesis chapter 6, verse 11 to 13.
Eye for an eye, you know.
So that relates to the story of the flood and Noah.
Yeah.
But that makes sense, right? I mean, hey, Earth. Hey, this is God here. You're so violent. You're so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kill everything to make the world less violent.
Yeah.
Capiche? You know, like, hey,
stop being violent, or I'll give you something to cry about.
To be violent and naked. Genesis chapter 9, verse 20 to 21. We don't want to. That's really like private. So.
Yeah.
We'd rather not dive into too much of Noah the drunk and naked, although that did happen. This was after the flood, you know, when everything was cool. He's just like, fuck it. I'm going to get drunk and take my clothes off.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to, we're just clipping along here. We get to Sodom and Gomorrah at this point. And there are two angels that visit Lot. And they wash their feet, eat, and are sexually irresistible to the Sodomites.
Yeah.
Genesis chapter 19, verse 1 to 5. And then right after that, Lot offers his daughters to a crowd of angel rapers, saying, hey, angel rapers, don't rape two angels. Instead, rape my daughters. And what happened was, the angel rapers were like, no, we want the angel. Genesis chapter 19, verse 8. So, as we move on, we find out that Lot, he lied about his daughters being virgins in chapter 19, verse 8. But it was a just and righteous lie intended to make his daughters more attractive to the sex-crazed mob. So it's cool.
Were his daughters not virgins? Were they not virgins? Yeah, but were they not virgins because he fucked them? Like, I feel like there's a lot of weird shit going on here. And there aren't a lot of people, and so weird shit's happening. Shit's getting weird in here.
Definitely. I mean, when two angels show up in town, and you invite them in, and you wash their feet, and you give them something to eat, and all of a sudden there's a crowd of mad angel rapers at the door. That's weird. Is it weirder to say? Is it weirder than to lie and say, "Hey, I got two virgin daughters"? Not really. Like, here, take them, and then the mob says, "Oh, you know what? No,
they're not virgins. We just tried them out. They didn't bleed. Okay, we want the angels. Give us the angels." We want that angel tang. That angel tang, because it's pure. We need them to be virgins if we're going to mob them. This sounds really weird to me.
It is really weird, and a lot of people might think this is really like profane or even blasphemous or like horrible. But what we're reading here, what we're kind of looking at, these elements of the Bible are what, all of these so-called Judeo-Christian values are apparently based on. So I think we're in the clear. I think we're in the clear on this one. Genesis chapter 22, verse 16, God swears to himself. What? I don't. Jamon, can you explain that?
Yeah. Fuck. Oh.
Thank you.
Fuck.
That's perhaps that's all that needs to be said.
Yes. Thank you, Jamon.
Yeah, very, very well done. So we're moving on to Jacob, and Jacob is tricked by Laban, the father of Rachel and Leah, his daughters.
Yeah.
Right. Jacob asked for Rachel so that he can go in unto her. That's a great phrase.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Jacob asks for Rachel so he can go in unto her. This
Rachel.
sounds like I could still type this into Pornhub and get a great result.
Right. It doesn't indicate like which hole, so to speak, that he wanted to go in unto her into. But Laban gives him Leah instead, and Jacob went in unto her, Leah, by mistake.
The feminism in all of this is really killing me, man. It's just killing me. We need to get some men in here.
Right. Well, I think they're coming. Not yet.
Are they coming up into her though? Are they coming up into her? That's the most important part. No, never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. You're asking important questions. So Jacob was fooled until morning. Apparently he didn't know who he was going in unto.
Wow. I've had that happen before.
Yeah. Those nights that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
College experimentation.
I blame theater class.
I blame too. So this is exciting. So finally, everybody worked things out, and Jacob got to go on into Rachel too.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
So it's all good. All right.
Melrose Place.
That was taken directly from Genesis chapter 29, verses 21 through 30. So these references are important because people, they might say, "Oh, my Shorts and Aurelius, you're full of shit. Like, get out of here, shut it down.
Yeah,
we're not going to take it." But now people can go and look for themselves.
Yes.
So
we're
I think
we're not altering anything. We are keeping things the way they were, sticking to the words.
We're just providing some commentary on from a modern perspective.
Yes.
Because you have to put things into context, and we live in the modern world, and this is a very ancient, true story, by the way.
Yeah, and I just want to say that when they went up into each other, or when he went up into those two girls, they hadn't ever washed themselves because they didn't have toilet paper back then, and they didn't have baths and soaps. So I just want to explain to you the absolute heinousness that went on here. And that, as biblical as you wanted to get, things were really bad back then for humans.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Us folks who have smelt clean pussy, we don't know the terrors of this.
No, not by a long shot. Even the grimiest bum on the street has no idea.
Yes.
So Jacob's story continues. So Jacob wrestles with God and wins. And then God
hold on.
Jacob's go ahead.
He wrestles with God and wins. Okay, hold on. Ding, ding, ding. And now, coming to the Takatron, Hulk Hogan versus Jacob. Oh, and Jacob's got him in the Boston Crab. And now it's the half Nelson. And 1, 2, 3. Jacob won.
Ding, ding, ding,
okay.
ding, ding. He wins. And so, I don't know
champion.
Because he wins, or just as an aside, or God changes Jacob's name to Israel to signify that he wrestled with God and prevailed.
I see.
Genesis chapter 32, verses 24 to 30.
So it's Israel. They were fighting for the Israel championship belt, and Jacob won. Cool. Gotcha.
But all isn't fair in love and war and name changes, because shortly after that, like immediately, God gets, he's a sore loser, let's just say. So unable to beat Jacob in a fair fight, God dislocates Jacob's leg. Genesis 32, chapter 25. So
I'm just seeing, this is the wrestling thing, and, these promos that they do, and, okay, so Jacob's now doing, a promo, standing with Mean Gene, who's all sweaty, and he's, interviewing him, and he goes, so you beat Hulk Hogan, huh? And you beat him, you beat the god of wrestling, huh? Yeah, that's right, Mean Gene. And then in from behind comes God with a chair to dislocate Jacob's leg.
Yes. Exactly.
So now the match has to begin. Ding, ding, ding.
Right. But then moving on, now, see, this is in sequence. So Jacob wrestles with God and wins. God changes his name. And because, he changed his name because he won. You're like, good job. You have a new name, Israel.
Yeah.
But then right after that, he gets pissed and dislocates his leg.
Yeah.
And then God begs Jacob to let him go. But Jacob says, not unless you bless me. So God blessed Jacob, and Jacob let God go. Genesis 32, verses 26 to 29.
Why is God such a fucking pussy?
It really doesn't make a lot of sense.
This
he
makes
wins,
no sense.
He gets the title. Then God.
How does
fucks him up.
How does God, the architect, lose? I mean, this is like Hulk Hogan showing up to WrestleMania, picking up Andre the Giant, and Andre falling on him and pinning him. And that's the end of the whole legacy of Hulk Hogan. He breaks his back and fucking falls and gets pinned.
Right, and then he's getting pinned. While he's getting pinned, he's like, no, let me go. And you don't know, I'm not letting you go until you tell me I'm the greatest. So, you're the greatest. Okay, all right.
In theory, though,
yes.
In theory, anyone who faces down with God could just bring up Jacob. Say, well, Jacob.
Yeah, he won apparently with a dislocated leg.
It's incredible.
It's really
beyond amazing. Wow.
So, wow. All right, and then one more Genesis chapter. So the quote is we're talking about Judah. Now, Judah he does something. He washes his garments in wine. His eyes shall be red with wine. That's the biblical quote. So my question is did Judah really wash his clothes in wine? And were his eyes bloodshot from drinking too much? Or is this the prophecy of Jesus? I didn't know Jesus had a drinking problem. Why would you wash your clothes in wine?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Anyway.
I mean, if you're that drunk, you might, like, oh, I'm drunk, I'm going to wash my clothes in wine. Genesis chapter 49, verse 11 to 12. Yeah. That's a weird book.
Weird book.
And that's